The engine is back from the machine shop. And this is what I do. It looks so much better than that quick clean that I did. Now, I did not ask him to hone out the cylinders. In fact, I don't think he did, but he might have. He might have. So, first thing I'm going to do, excuse me if I sound funny, I've got a little bit of a cold. I got some soapy water here, and I am going to wash out all of the cylinders. Now, the last time I showed you this, I was using my ball hone, but my ball hone's a little big for this. You see the dirt and stuff that I'm pulling out of there. So he must have done a little bit to it. Yep. A little bit of water is not going to hurt anything. It's when it dries that you can get a problem. If you just let it dry, you'll get surface rust and pitting. Not enough to amount to anything. But, hey, we don't want any, actually. Alright, that's the wash. This is the rinse. The rinse is where you want to make sure that your rag is coming out clean. See? We'll blow all the cylinders out. Then you put on your glove and or whatever else you've got. And you shoot oil down in the cylinders and rub it around. Okay, compressor's running. I don't know if you can see that. You can see the cylinder getting dry. I know you can't see it on that side. Totally dry. Put your glove on. If you can get your hand in it. Sorry about that. Wind is kicking up outside. That's about as simple as it gets. Right there, you're just putting a film of oil on that cylinder wall. You'll be doing it again later when you go to put the pistons and rings in. Now everybody's got a different order for how they do things. I'm going to blow out all the passages, make sure everything is clear. This thing was a mucky mess. But that's step one. Wash out your cylinders. That's my first step. Not everybody. I heard a lot of people don't even do that. But it's best to do it. Because, well, you saw the dirt and stuff that was coming out of there. That's why you do it. I've already got the other side done now. No reason to show you that. Same thing. Now I'm going to move the engine away from that water mess on the floor over to here where it's drier, which is as simple as that. Which, there it is. And then we're going to flip the block. Let that water run out. The cylinders have all got oil in them. Everything's dry. Now, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to blow out all the oil passages. Blow out all the oil bolt holes. Rust. You don't even want an oil film in here until after you got the bearings in. So, fill that one in the lifter galley. Fill that one in the can. That one's in the cam. Lifter galley. There's all the new cam bearings. And there's one clear in the back. Right there. It's all good. And there is the balance. Oops, sorry. The balancer bearing. Balance shaft bearing. And there's the cam bearing. So, we are on the verge of starting to put it together. I'll probably do more tomorrow. Alright, I don't remember where I left off. Been dealing with a massive head cold. So, whoop. But hopefully I've brought it up to this point. About this time when you get yourself a piece of Scotch-Brite pad and you clean these mating surfaces up. Get off that surface rust. You don't want it. Get down right into these corners here. That was my fingernail. That cleans it right up. Now you got that clean, you clean down in here. You do not want any surface rust under your bearing. You don't want anything changing your tolerances. And this is the thrust bearing. Right here you can tell by that groove. You want to clean those surfaces. Not just where the bearing sits on the bottom. Want to get it all. And since you're heading here, go ahead and clean out where the seal sits. Now, the bearings. Here's all my crank bearings. Be sure you don't cut in the wrong place. And notice the big hole. All these go on the bottom. And if you're paying real close attention, you'll see that I put every one of these in wrong. On purpose. This is the top. Well, actually, this is the bottom. This will sit on like that. Canola groove here that matches with this one. A little tab right there. Now, some people think that's a locking tab. It is not a locking tab. It is a location tab. Let me see if I can get you in close. Okay. That little notch right there lines up with this right here. Set it in. Slide it down. Every one of these has a little locator. Yeah, you can see the two holes right there. One, there's the other. And then, excuse me, so I pick you up and basically fly you over all these, but you can see the holes. And before we put any lube or anything on here, we're going to set the crank in. Alrighty. Got our crank in. It moves. We had it polished. Looking pretty good. I'm definitely going to be doing some editing on this. It'd help if I could see what I was doing here. Clean those off. And again, get your Scotch-Brite pad. clean off anything that could interfere with this thing sitting down in place. Alright. I was getting it to where I could see what I was doing, but you couldn't see what I was doing. Alright, there's that. Alright. Again, locator. Locator. Get everything in place. And these are all marked. Got 2 arrows. They point forward. This is number 2. Now, I'm actually getting ahead of myself here, but this is how it goes. And I'm going to go ahead and finish cleaning up everything before I come back. Because I'm going to have to rotate the crank here a little bit. Get off of this oil galley right there. I also want to, before I go any further with this, I want to blow through all these holes and make sure every single one of them is open and clear. I knew they were to begin with, but that doesn't mean that in the process of cleaning and polishing and all that, there's a little piece of cloth there that had to be off of his polisher. But either way, I'm going to blow through all those holes, pull the crank back out, blow through all the holes, make sure all the oil galleys are clear, because we do not want to starve a rod or anything for oil. And then we'll get the plastic gauge, and I'll cut it. One little other thing here, make sure, see this one here, sticking up a little bit, so make sure you get that shoved down where both sides are flush with the cap. You never knew, right here is the oil galley hole. Now the oil goes through the block down to the crank, oils the bearing. Also, that oil goes through here, and this one feeds this rod. Get it on my finger. Go over to this one. That one takes care of this rod. And there's going to be a hole on the bottom, right there. Everything is clear. Okay, I got the plastic gauge out. You can just see it right there. See, that's where you put it. Close to the top. The other thing is, you want to try to make sure that all the tops of these don't have a hole. It's a flat surface. so you don't have to turn the crank or anything in between. Then you put the caps on, you tighten them down, no oil, nothing like that. Make sure you got the arrow pointed forward. Oh, one other thing I want to mention. Keep track of the bolts. As you can see, this one has very long bolts that stand up. This is number 2. Now I will get the plastic gauge down on all the rest of these. Then we will torque them down in sequence. And then take them loose and check the plastic gauge. Okay, got this done, and you can see I'm checking it here. We're setting at 15 thousandths. That is within tolerance. We'll go through, we check the rest. And that's all there is to plastic gauging. We do the same on the rods, and we're done and good. And I think we're going to call this the end of this video. So the next one we're going to cover, I'm going to show you the taking the rings off, cleaning the ring grooves, and then assembling the rest of the bottom end. And then I will oil, well, I won't oil, I will actually assembly lube, take the crank back out, put assembly lube in all the bearings, because you do this with everything dry. Put assembly lube in everything, put it all back together, torque it all back down, and that part is done. Thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, I just finished lubing everything, torquing them down. Now, should be able to turn the crank by hand. And I can. All the way around. Now, the lube I use is some tacky stuff, so she's not going to just spin free, but it's spinning nice and easy. I mean, there's one finger. That's how it should be. Alright, we're done. Thanks for watching. Like, share, over here, somewhere. Somewhere, the camera's upside down, so I don't know which way I'm pointing. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a dozen. Treat people the way you want to be treated, and, you know, make it a better world.